words of my mouth and the meditations of our hearts be always acceptable in your sight, O Lord, our strength and our Redeemer. Amen. Thanks everybody for being here this afternoon. My friend Sam Breck and I enjoyed watching movies together. We often discussed the books he had recently read. When I was new to Ann Arbor, he went with me on a driving tour of the city and its environs from Dexter to Plymouth to Ypsilanti and back, and he pointed out to me all of the major streets and landmarks. Whenever I went anywhere with him, people would greet him, and they would often cross the street to do so. He seemed to know everyone and had a friendly word for everyone, whether he knew them or not. He was always glad to see you. And he was, as all of us know, nearly completely blind. In July of 2004, I moved from Kent, Ohio to Ann Arbor to become the chaplain of Canterbury House, the Episcopal campus ministry here at the University of Michigan. My wife was still in graduate school, and so my family stayed behind in Kent. And when the board of Canterbury House made it known that the new chaplain would need a place to stay for some months, Sam generously offered the upstairs room of his house, so we became roomies. As I recall, there were no expectations whatsoever. Sam was happy for the company, and I was certainly grateful for his hospitality. Given Sam's inimitable grace and openness, we soon became good friends. And after a couple of weeks, we had developed a routine that included sitting down together in the early evening when each of us would take our heart medicine. As I recall, he preferred his heart medicine from Italy, and I liked mine from Spain. I was impressed, as I imagine many of us were, by Sam's breadth of knowledge and his interests. He was indeed very well read, and he was always interested in learning something new. He loved music and history, politics, and of course, religion. He and I shared an enthusiasm for train travel, and he delighted in reviewing with me the many photographs he had taken before he lost his eyesight of trains and of his beloved town of Ann Arbor. And even more impressive than his knowledge, of course, was the sheer joy that he radiated constantly. I can't say for certain whether it was his love of other people that brought him joy, or whether his joy was so compelling that the love naturally followed. As we know, the Christian virtues are related, and cultivating any one of them generally nourishes the others. Sam had faith, hope, and love, all in wonderful proportion. Sam had a terrific sense of humor. He loved limericks and had quite a gift for composing them. I have here one of his favorites, and I don't know whether this one was his or if he got it from his dear friend, Father Alex Miller, who was also fond of heart medicine, or more properly, snakebite remedy in the form of martinis. Don't stop me if you've heard this one before, because I want to hear it again myself. An aged Episcopal priest subsisted entirely on yeast. For, he said, it is plain, we shall all rise again, and I want to get started at least. I never heard Sam utter a self-pitying word, rarely even a complaint of any kind, though he was not a stoic. I'm sure he would have wonderful and interesting things to say about the closing of the Ann Arbor News. But he was never, ever one to carry any kind of bitterness in his heart. He was able to see the good in everything and everybody. His response to losing his eyesight was to gracefully accept the help he needed in order to learn to be as mobile and as independent as he could, and then to help others to do the same. He spoke very fondly of his wife Mary, and it was clear that he had loved her very much during her life, and missed her profoundly when she was gone. And I don't have any doubt that her loss was a great blow to him, and doubly so in that he missed the help that she had provided as he learned to deal with the loss of his eyesight. But Sam never complained about that either. Instead, his stories of Marion and of their marriage were illustrations of love and fidelity that were an inspiration, I am sure, to his children, certainly to me and to Deb in our own marriage, and doubtless to many of you. Sam was proud of his family, and I was privileged to join them for some memorable celebrations of Thanksgiving and Christmas, also involving a little bit of heart medicine. Sam was so beautifully grounded in God, and so at peace with himself, that love for his neighbor was easy and natural to him. He had been a regular volunteer on Tuesday mornings at the St. Andrew's breakfast program long before I knew him, and it was always a pleasure to go there with him and to see him interact with volunteers and guests alike. He literally knew no strangers. And I see today here, in addition to his family, friends, fellow volunteers from the church and the community,